So you want a cohesive Instagram feed, but you're not quite sure how to do that. Don't trip, I got you. And it's actually not as difficult as you may be thinking. Say, what? I'm gonna show you a super simple formula that you can follow to have a cohesive Instagram feed. And if you're really about that life and you wanna dive even deeper into this, I actually put together a webinar on how to create a cohesive Instagram feed, and I am linking it down below. If you're serious, go ahead and click that link. All right, let's go. One of the first things you want to do when it comes to having a cohesive Instagram feed is select a color palette. If you think about it, that's like one of the first things you do when you move into a new place. You say, what is my theme? Like, what are the colors going to be? You should look at your feed in the same way. When people visit your Instagram feed for the first time, one of the first things that they'll notice is the color. What's going on here on this page, right? So you want to keep that in mind when you're picking your color palette. You want it to be warm, welcoming, and inviting, whatever that means to you. My color palette on my personal Instagram feed is black, white, green, brown, and a little bit of gold because I'm fancy, okay? That's it. You may see like a few other colors here and there, but for the most part, that is what I stick to. That's it, the end. Now, if you need a little help selecting a color palette, you can look on Google or my best friend, Pinterest. You'll see a ton of color palettes for you to choose from. Have your way with them. It's actually how I found my current color palette. I just went on Pinterest and was like, give me like a neutral color palette, and wow, found one that just blew my mind. Once you have your color palette selected, next you need to figure out how you want to lay out your images. Or in other words, what do you want your grid to look like? There are quite a few options that you can choose from. Some of the most popular ones are the simple grid where you kind of just post, and it's more like a lifestyle vibe where everything just kind of flows together. You have a diagonal grid, a checkered grid, you have rows, you have a single line, you have rainbows, borders, puzzle, etc., etc. It really doesn't matter what you choose as long as you stick to it. All right, moving right along. Wardrobe. This one is going to seem slightly OCD, but it is crucial, okay? If you want your feed to look cohesive, you're going to have to change or tweak your wardrobe so that it matches whatever color palette you selected. The reason I selected the black, white, green, etc. color palette, that's literally all I wear. Like, I wear black, white, sometimes green, all the time. So that color palette just made sense because it was easy for me. I didn't really have to change my wardrobe. I just go to my closet and grab something black. If you pick a color palette that's like neutral, don't you dare go to your closet and grab a fuchsia sweater. No. I know this sounds crazy, but it'll throw your feed completely off. If you want that cohesive feed, you have to make some sacrifices, okay? You can wear the purple fuchsia outfit out to the cafe, but when it comes to your feed, scratch it. It ain't gonna work. Next up, you want to select 3 or 4 shooting locations that work with your theme and your colors and stick with them. Shoot in those locations consistently and it will just automatically make your feed look good because you're shooting in the same locations, right? So I'll use myself as an example. I tend to shoot in my living room, on the couch, at my desk, by the window, in my kitchen, or in my bedroom. Repeat. Typically, I don't go anywhere else. That's it. And so you can see on my feed, it's a lot of like white, some grays, some blacks, because that's what my home looks like. Now, when I go outside, I still look for, buildings or scenery that kind of imitate what I have going on here. So you'll see me shooting at white buildings, maybe a little bit of black in there, some greenery going on, because that best mimics what I have been creating inside of my home. Next, plan ahead. I cannot hammer this home enough. You have to plan or your feed will look a hot mess. Okay, there's nothing worse than taking this fire photo, right, in your fuchsia sweater and you post it on your feed and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that don't look good, right? You immediately want to take it down. Well, that can all be avoided if you use a content management tool like Planoly or Later or, If you use one of these platforms to lay out your content, move it around until you get it to a place where it looks good. It is crucial. Plan ahead. Lastly, bring it all together by using a preset that looks good on your images and that works well with the color palette that you have selected. You can find really good presets on Etsy. Also some apps like VSCO, Afterlight, and even Facetune has some really good filters that you can play around with. Know that presets and filters are not a, one size fits all situation. You're going to have to tweak, no matter, even if you're shooting in the same locations. Sometimes, the sun is playing hide and seek with the clouds, so the lighting is different. You're just always going to have to tweak those presets and filters a little bit. But if you start with the same filter and then tweak from there, for the most part, your images will look very similar. Yeah. And with that, we have reached the end of our video. I promise you, if you follow these steps, your feed will look 100 times better. This right here is the formula. Again, if you want to dive deeper into some of the things that I discussed today, check out my webinar. It's linked down below, and I will get you through this. We're gonna get that feed together in 2021. Yeah. All right, guys, that is it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also hit the bell notification so you do not miss a thing. Until next time, toodles.